Fever down! Bow, bow, bow! Also, would you guys look at this cute little denim set for Ozzy? In case you guys want to see him in it. Is that not so cute? Yes! Let's get a dove column! Oh. Big dove!
The Indiana Fever just sent a powerful message, one that every Caitlin Clark and Fever fan will be proud of. With their star player sidelined due to injury, the rest of the squad rose to the occasion in stunning fashion, dominating the Las Vegas Aces by an incredible 27-point margin. This kind of outcome was far from expected. The Fever hadn't beaten Vegas since 2019. They were missing key contributors, and Aja Wilson seemed to get every call in her favor, but none of that mattered. Kelsey Mitchell, Aliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham, Lexie Hull, Aari McDonald, and Natasha Howard came out with fire. Determined, focused, and completely unshaken. They didn't just compete, they took control. And after the final buzzer, Mitchell summed up the victory with just 3 powerful words. A quote that perfectly captured the heart and grit behind this team's moment. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a comment below that says, "I've got the Fever, let's go."
And we talked about, we just made sure that our energy was high, made sure that we were focused, because obviously we know Vegas is a great team and they're a team full of winners. And so for us, it's making sure that we turn the page off of a great Commissioner's Cup success, and then we have to be ready for Vegas, and we were.
McDonald back on the attack, lays it in. Nice. Mitchell, beautiful pass, 2 more for Boston. Oh, catch and shoot, connects. Here's Mitchell left wide open, and Mitchell cashes in with authority. McDonald turns the corner and gets to the rim.
Imagine walking into one of the biggest games of the season with everything stacked against you. You're up against the defending Wnba champions. The reigning MVP is suiting up on the other side. Your star player is out with an injury. A trusted veteran has recently left the team. And to top it off, several key contributors are overseas, competing in international tournaments. That's the exact situation the Indiana Fever faced as they prepared to take on the Las Vegas Aces.
No updates outside of she's out tonight, so just continuing to work and get her progress and make sure there's no setbacks.
With the start-stop nature of you guys this season to this point, having 5 in a row at home right here, what kind of opportunity do you view that as for the rest of your year?
I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for us. Sleep in your own beds for a while, play some games at home. In our home arena with this crowd. It is a great opportunity, but you also can't take the opportunity that you're playing at home for granted, right? We still got to come with that energy, that effort, that high attention to detail, intentional focus, and we've got to build.
Caitlin Clark's injury couldn't have come at a more difficult moment for the Indiana Fever. The young star who had redefined the team's identity was now watching from the sidelines in street clothes. Clark wasn't just their top scorer. She was the heartbeat of the offense. Her ability to push the pace, create opportunities, and elevate everyone around her had become central to the team's success. Without her dynamic presence, the Fever were forced to adapt. Their fast-paced, high-energy style slowed down. The offense, once built around transition plays and outside shooting, suddenly had to be restructured on the fly.
With Caitlin and her status, just how did she look, how did she feel today during shoot-around, and is she making progress and getting closer playing?
She's making progress. I think, again, top of mind, I think I told you this afternoon, is just long term. Making sure that we don't have any setbacks. Making progress and feeling good are 2 different things, and we want to make sure that she feels good. We want to make sure that she's confident. We want to make sure that we're not putting her in a position to have any setbacks, and that's the priority right now.
But the challenges didn't stop there. Veteran forward Wnba Bonner made the surprising decision to leave the team, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Just as the Fever were gearing up for one of the most important stretches of the season, they lost a key veteran presence in the locker room. Already short on experienced players, Indiana had to scramble to adjust their rotations and plug the gaps left behind. To make matters even more difficult, forward Damiris Dantas was competing internationally for Brazil in the FIBA Americup, further thinning out the Fever's front court at a time when every available body mattered.
Interested in hearing how you feel about beating Las Vegas. You've been through a lot of them.
Yeah, I was reminding the team, I was like, it's been since 2000-something since I've been here. But, on the bright side is that, organizations go through certain things. you know, there's lulls in every part of life, and I think for us in the Fever, it was our time.
Now, here's where things got really interesting. The Fever weren't just battling through internal setbacks. They were about to go up against A'ja Wilson, the reigning league MVP, who's been dominating once again this season. And it wasn't just any regular game. The Las Vegas Aces have been the benchmark for success in the WNBA for years. This was the top-tier squad, the reigning powerhouse, and for Indiana, the ultimate challenge. Why? Because the Aces had beaten the Fever in every single meeting since 2019. That's 5 straight years of defeat. The matchup history heavily favored Las Vegas, and everyone knew it.
Here's Kelsey Mitchell, flips it to Howard, who lays it in. And Indiana's offense humming here in the opening 3 minutes. She hit 3 threes in that win on Tuesday. They're high on the season. Mitchell, shifty, gets to the rim.
Oh, it's the re-screen by Boston, and then this is rhythm here. Screen, re-screen, the twist action, the switch, and then watch the bump right here. Once you get the defender right next to you,
Gainbridge Fieldhouse was packed, and the energy in the building was off the charts. But even the most loyal Indiana Fever fans had their doubts. Yes, the team had just captured their first Commissioner's Cup title with an impressive win over Minnesota. But this game felt different. The stakes were higher, the challenges even greater. Indiana was without key players, the roster was stretched thin, and most analysts had already counted them out before the game even began. But what no one expected was how this moment, this exact storm of setbacks, would ignite something special. Sometimes it's when everything seems to be falling apart that a team finds out who they really are. And on this night, the Fever were about to discover just how far they could go when the odds were completely stacked against them.
Coming off a big Commissioner's Cup win Tuesday, Fever emphasized coming into this one how important it was to keep moving forward, to keep the train on going, to not have a hangover in maybe more ways than one. And they did not. It was a dominant display, bigger than I can ever remember here in recent memory with the Fever, especially when the star player was out.
The stats painted a clear picture of just how much Caitlin Clark means to the Indiana Fever. Without her on the floor, the team's identity shifted dramatically. The fast, fluid offense that had energized fans and kept defenses scrambling was suddenly gone. The Fever, known for their sharp transitions and up-tempo rhythm, found themselves struggling to find that same spark. Without Clark directing the pace and creating opportunities, the game slowed down, and the team looked like a shadow of the squad that had captured national attention just weeks earlier.
What have you seen the last 2 games in particular against the Wings and the Lynx of the growth of this team without Caitlin on the floor?
I think first and foremost, defensively, we've been better. And that's continuing to build consistency in our coverages, have a high attention to detail in everything that we do. I think our activity, our awareness has been better. On the defensive end as well. We've done a better job of protecting the paint. Now we've still got to improve in defending without foul.
Without Caitlin Clark on the floor, the Fever's tempo slowed down dramatically. Her ability to push the pace after rebounds and turnovers had been the driving force behind their high-energy offense. What once felt like fast-paced, dynamic basketball suddenly became much more methodical. The team, which had been scoring over 90 points a game with Clark in the lineup, began struggling to hit 80 without her. The offensive flow unraveled, and players who once thrived in Clark's system found it much harder to generate shots on their own.
And I think offensively, the ball's moving. Multiple players are touching it. We're getting it from side to side, getting it inside, outside. It's moving a little bit quicker. Our goal is to get to where we play 0.5 basketball. And when we're at our best, it's moving and it's popping, and ball movement and player movement as well.
But that wasn't the only issue. The Fever's offense quickly became predictable and lacked movement. Without Caitlin Clark's elite passing and vision, the team lost its rhythm. Clark had a unique ability to find open teammates in tight windows, creating easy scoring opportunities and elevating everyone's performance. Without her, the ball often stalled. Players were holding on too long, forcing shots instead of making quick, smart decisions. The fluid team basketball that once defined the Fever turned into isolation plays and missed opportunities. No one felt the impact more than Aliyah Boston. The dominant post player who once thrived with consistent touches suddenly found herself on the outside looking in, instead of working inside the paint, where she's most dangerous. Boston was stuck waiting on the perimeter, and without a true playmaker to get her the ball in the right spots, her presence on the floor was minimized.
What are some of the keys that you see as to how exactly you're going to do that, or what you guys need to do to approach the game successfully?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got to be disruptive. We've got to make sure that we play with a level of physicality that doesn't allow them to just pass the ball around where everywhere that they want to pass it. So we've got to make sure that we're disruptive. We got to make sure that we're elite at our on-ball screen defense. This is a team that reads really well, that moves really well. We got to be elite at the point of attack on on-ball screen defense. We've got to. We always talk about guarding our yard, being able to guard one-on-one so we're not in rotation early. I think for us it's going to have to start on the defensive end of the floor so that allows us to get out and run in transition as well. But we can't allow them to just do exactly what they want to do on the offensive end.
Here's where things took a dramatic turn. Without Caitlin Clark on the court, opposing teams quickly adjusted their game plans. Defenses began to collapse into the paint, no longer fearing long-range shots. With no consistent perimeter threat to keep them honest, defenders dared the Fever to shoot from outside. Other players were forced to create their own scoring opportunities, something much more difficult without Clark's ability to spread the floor and draw defensive attention. Against elite teams like the Las Vegas Aces, the Fever started to look average. Their offense became predictable, and finding multiple consistent scores became a real challenge. But behind the scenes, Kelsey Mitchell had been preparing for this moment. She was focused, locked in, and had 3 powerful words that would soon define the night. As the crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse buzzed with anticipation, something special was brewing, and everything was about to change.
They never trailed. They got up as many as 27 points in this one. They kept their pedal down, which is important given what we've seen this season, en route to an 81-54 win. Complete dominance. They pummeled this Las Vegas Aces team. It was a 27-point win, and it wasn't even close after the first quarter. Once again, the Fever owned that second quarter in a big way. They outscored the Aces 25-10, which allowed them to go into halftime on top by 22.
What followed was nothing short of historic for the Indiana Fever. From the very first possession, there was a different energy inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. You could sense it. This team was on a mission. Gone was the uncertainty that had hovered over them in recent games. Instead, the Fever hit the court with focus, fire, and a purpose that stunned both the crowd and their opponents. This wasn't the same group that had been struggling without their leader. These athletes were unified, confident, and determined to make a statement.
In the backcourt, they get it into Evans. You don't often see that by a team up by 18, and it pays off.
Indiana came out with intensity on the defensive end right from the jump. The Fever applied constant pressure, switching on every screen and sending double teams at Aja Wilson the moment she touched the ball. They disrupted the Aces' rhythm, forcing tough, contested shots and making every possession a battle. Indiana's defenders were active in the passing lanes, hustling for loose balls and contesting everything. Players who had previously struggled to find their offensive rhythm suddenly came alive on defense, feeding off each other's energy. The momentum built quickly, and the crowd could feel it. Something special was unfolding.
Let's go! Let's go! Great job! Great job! Look, we held them to 26% from the floor. Nice! We got a couple of milestones. AB, 5th Fever all-time career rebound. Wow! Ladies, thank you. And then Kels, 700th career assist. Thanks for making me look good, ladies. Thanks for making me look good. Thank you, I appreciate it. Tosh, 52nd career double-double.
Here's where things got especially dramatic. Some of the officiating began to raise eyebrows, particularly when it came to Aja Wilson. She appeared to receive favorable calls throughout the game, including a few fouls that left fans scratching their heads. Each time the Fever began to build momentum, the whistle seemed to interrupt their rhythm, often in Wilson's favor. It felt like the reigning MVP was getting a bit of superstar treatment from the officials. But despite the frustration, Indiana stayed locked in. They didn't let the calls distract them or throw them off their game. The Fever were determined to stay focused and finish strong, no matter what.
And I hope that you sense, you see, and you feel when we play that kind of defense, the difference that it makes. Defense travels, defense wins games, defense wins championships. We were great on the boards as well. Continue to buy into that elite level defense consistently, every day. That is our standard. That is our standard. Let's get out there, 1, 2, 3. Together!
Kelsey Mitchell wasn't backing down. From the opening minutes, she caught fire from beyond the arc, knocking down tough shots, even with defenders all over her. But it wasn't just the scoring that stood out, it was the timing. Every time Las Vegas threatened to close the gap, Mitchell delivered a clutch basket to keep Indiana in control. Her confidence lit a spark throughout the team. You could feel the energy shift as her teammates fed off her momentum. Mitchell played like someone who had been preparing for this exact moment, ready to lead and ready to shine.
Here's Kelsey Mitchell, flips it to Howard, who lays it in. And Indiana's offense humming here in the opening 3 minutes. She hit 3 threes in that win on Tuesday, her high on the season. Mitchell, shifty, gets to the rim.
Oh, it's the rescreen by Boston, and then this is rhythm here. Screen, rescreen, the twist action, the switch, and then watch the bump right here. Once you get the defender right next to you, Pat.
That's Boston's 5th rebound here tonight. He is 6th in the league on the glass coming into the night. Mitchell, beautiful pass. 2 more for Boston.
Watch this right here. Just the pitch back, the ball screen, the shake up, throw over the top.
So it's an 8-1 run to start the 3rd quarter here for Las Vegas. Bounce pass inside. Mitchell lays it in. Pretty finish.
What a finish.
Aliyah Boston finally got the opportunity to showcase her full potential. With improved ball movement and teammates actively finding her in the post, she took full control of the paint. Boston battled fiercely on both ends, scoring over elite defenders like A'ja Wilson, pulling down tough rebounds, and bringing the physicality that made her a standout in college. This was the version of Boston fans had been waiting to see, the dominant interior presence who thrives when allowed to play her true game.
Wilson coming off a masterful performance, 26 and 18, and Boston will take it right at her. Sets up Howard, the Commissioner's Cup MVP, has us on the board. She kind of slowly worked her way in as there's the head coach of the Aces, Becky Hammond. And here is Boston right up the middle, untouched. Underneath into a triple team, bounces for Howard, patience, and a finish.
She's had 2 offensive fouls, too, off the ball.
Mitchell finds Boston and gets it to go.
I mean, it's a clinic right now.
Caught by surprise by the move. Life in professional sports, certainly the WNBA moves fast. And her former teammate, Aliyah Boston, gets inside and finishes through her.
Despite facing tough odds, the Indiana Fever kept building momentum. What started as a 10-point lead quickly grew to 15, then 20. The Las Vegas Aces simply had no answer for the energy Indiana brought to the court. Veteran forward Natasha Howard was a defensive force, blocking shots, pulling down key rebounds, and leading by example. Her performance mirrored the intensity that earned her Commissioner's Cup MVP honors. She was the anchor the team needed, and her presence lifted everyone around her. As the Fever's lead ballooned to a stunning 27 points, the atmosphere inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse reached a fever pitch. Fans rose to their feet, celebrating each bucket like it was a championship moment. Players who had once been overlooked were stepping up and delivering on the big stage. Indiana wasn't just winning, they were putting on a clinic, a dominant performance no one saw coming, but everyone will remember.
It was our time, and I think we kind of deserved it based on our preparation and everything that we had been through prior to this game. And I think you guys got to see what it looked like for us to stay resilient throughout the course of, 48 hours. We just played, in Minnesota, and we got to prepare for this. And you guys got to see what it's like for us to be resilient.
Following the game, Kelsey Mitchell shared the powerful 3 words that had fueled her all season. "We deserve it." The emotion in her voice said it all. Those words represented the journey this team had taken, the challenges they faced without Caitlin Clark, the constant doubt from outsiders, and the years of falling short against a powerhouse like Las Vegas. This wasn't just about one win, it was a statement. Mitchell and her teammates had earned this moment with resilience, grit, and an unshakable belief in each other. The post-game celebration reflected that spirit. Teammates embraced through tears of joy, fans cheered like never before, and the energy in the arena was electric. This wasn't just about proving critics wrong, it was about proving to themselves and to the league that the Indiana Fever are far more than just one player. When they come together as a unit, they can compete with and beat any team in the WNBA.
Defense. It sounds like cliche, man, but I swear, when we are able to be who we need to be offensively, it's because our defense is fueled by it. getting deflections isn't going to play in transition. You get to see the best version of players and pros once we get the defensive stops that we need.
This victory gave us a powerful glimpse into the future of the Indiana Fever heading into 2025. What we witnessed wasn't a one-time spark or a lucky break. It was a full team performance that revealed just how much talent and resilience lives within this roster. For so long, many believed the Fever were entirely dependent on Caitlin Clark. Her brilliance on the court often overshadowed what the rest of the team was capable of. But with Clark sidelined, those very teammates rose to the challenge and showed exactly why they belong. This dominant 27-point win over the defending champions wasn't just a statement, it was proof. The narrative that the Fever couldn't win without their star playmaker has officially been shattered. The depth of this team is real, the skill is undeniable, and now the league has to take notice.
Here's Kelsey Mitchell, flips it to Howard, who lays it in. And Indiana's offense humming here in the opening 3 minutes. She hit 3 threes in that win on Tuesday. Her high on the season. Mitchell, shifty, gets to the rim.
Oh, it's the rescreen by Boston, and then this is rhythm here. Screen, rescreen, the twist action, the switch, and then watch the bump right here. Once you get the defender right next to you, Pat.
That's Boston's 5th rebound here tonight. She is 6th in the league on the glass coming into the night. Mitchell, beautiful pass. 2 more for Boston.
Watch this right here. Just the pitch back, the ball screen, the shake up, throw over the top.
So it's an 8-1 run to start the 3rd quarter here for Las Vegas. Bounce pass inside. Mitchell lays it in. Pretty finish.
What a finish.
Kelsey Mitchell made a powerful statement. She's not just a key contributor, she's a rising star who can lead when it matters most. Her clutch 3-point shooting and steady presence in high-pressure moments proved she's more than capable of being a second option on a title-contending team. This wasn't just another strong outing, it was a breakout performance that demanded attention. On the other end of the court, Aliyah Boston delivered a dominant showing that firmly established her as a true franchise cornerstone. Battling against Aaja Wilson, one of the league's best, Boston owned the paint and showcased the polished post skills that once made her a collegiate standout. More importantly, she looked confident, ready to take charge and anchor both ends of the floor. Her interior scoring and defensive presence give the Fever a rock-solid foundation to build on for the future.
A 22-point lead down to 13, and it took less than 4 minutes. Lexie Hull, a much-needed answer for Indiana.
The Indiana Fever's matchup against the Aces was a masterclass in elite team defense and chemistry. Every rotation, every switch, every call on the floor showed a level of focus and communication that only top-tier teams possess. This wasn't just raw talent on display, it was synchronized, high IQ basketball at its finest. And now, imagine what this squad will look like when Caitlin Clark returns at full strength. With her back in the lineup, joining a team that's now proven it can perform under pressure, the Fever go from being a team with potential to a legitimate championship threat. This group isn't just exciting anymore, they're dangerous, and the rest of the league knows it.
20 here for the Aces. McDonald back on the attack, lays it in right around Wilson.
This win marked a turning point for the Indiana Fever. The chemistry and confidence they built in their victory over the Aces will carry with them for the rest of the season. Kelsey Mitchell and Aliyah Boston proved they can rise to the occasion and perform under pressure. The Fever are no longer seen as just Caitlin Clark's team. They've shown they're a complete, well-rounded roster capable of winning on their own. And when Clark returns to join this resilient, battle-tested squad, her vision, scoring, and leadership will only elevate what's already in motion. Indiana has officially become a real threat. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a "Let's Go Fever" in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a moment. Click the next video on your screen. We'll see you there.